So in this video, I'd like to go over the ultimate purpose of NovelBase and what it looks like in large instances. Presumably, you're trying to write a book or write something that is not trivial, something that is difficult to write, and you're looking at this as an alternative to some loose leaf binder or notebook or OneNote or some other I don't want to say dumber, but you know, less dynamic system. So I've prepared this Romeo and Juliet example where I copied all of the notes from SparkNotes. So it's a total of 90 notes, and it's just the overview of Romeo and Juliet. So yeah, as you can see, there's a whole lot. Although, remember here, a lot of these are duplicated multiple times since they show up in many places. So here, Feast and Romeo, this single sentence will show up under Romeo, Juliet, Capulet, Tybalt, Montague, Capulet, oh yeah, same, and then also Feast. But it can help. So I'm on the Control L page, or the List All page. So that's the key combination. I hit Control L to visit here, and then it's Control Up and Control Down to skip entire groupings. So here we can find information about the feast that occurred in Romeo and Juliet. It's sorted alphabetically, so not chronologically, which means you'd have to read a few of these to kind of get the sense of the time that passed during it, or what the events were. But you can see, so what happens is Romeo wasn't going to go, but he does because he's in love with Rosaline as opposed to Juliet. But I think he runs into Juliet, and I forget if it ends up he's found out, and then I don't remember if he's banned. Yeah, okay, so he's challenged to a duel. I forget what happens here. Oh, so I hit enter to visit that note. And that whole lag, if you saw, there was a blue star here, and now this says page 1 of 10. That was actually it loading up all of these notes. So this is actually a lot. So I'm using tab, shift, tab to go forward. Oh, shift tab is not working. But it should be shift tab to go back, but that doesn't appear to be working right now. I'll address that. Oh yeah, so right, this is the original note. The next day, Benvolio and Mercutio encounter Tybalt, Juliet's cousin, who still engaged that Romeo attended Capulet's feast, has challenged Romeo to a duel. Romeo appears. So I have duel. So if I do duel, it is, well, one thing here is you can see this duel. So if you're pretty comfortable with NovelBase, you don't necessarily need to see this all the time. Yeah, it exists, but you presumably understand that. Well, yeah, that's how it works underlying. So I hit Control Z to hide it. The two begin to duel. Romeo tries to stop them by leaping between the combatants. It looks like I don't have. I know what the eventuality of this, I want to say, is they're killed. think it's Tybalt. Yeah, so Tybalt stabs Mercutio under Romeo's arm and Mercutio dies. So, something to note here is this view is kind of busy, seeing this entire star structure that's kind of overwhelming. So I have a feature which has 2 points. One, it can kind of reduce the complexity, if it's kind of overwhelming, and you can see. And then two, it can actually help the program load faster. If I hit Control X, nothing happened, but actually, so I hit space. It started looking it up again, and you can see it hid those secondary links, so that makes it more your style. And it also has the second benefit of actually making it load a lot faster too. So I forget what happens to Tybalt. I want to say he's killed somehow. So I have to go to only Tybalt. Okay, there's 1 or 2 pages. Romeo killed Tybalt. Interesting. So Tybalt stabbed. Where did he stab? I think he stabs Mercutio. Yeah, Tybalt stabs Mercutio under Romeo's armor and Mercutio dies. And then here, Romeo, in a rage, kills Tybalt. So it's out of order temporally. I'd like to include a feature in the future that adds chronological or time, kind of, so maybe it would show up in the order of time or something like that in the future. But right now they're actually just picked at random. So, but of course all of these have Tybalt in them, and that's the unifying fact. But you can see the workflow where I'm understanding the book kind of in a search. I have the power to search through the book, kind of piece through it specifically through specific points. The only by like event. There's another event, or by person. I think Capulet is both a house, a guy, and so something interesting here is, so if we head here, you'll see that actually, so Capulet, and look at this sigil here. This is actually the same as, that's the right sigil basically. So it's linked correctly. So if I type in Capulets, oh yeah, it works. Okay, so something interesting here is they're both correct. They're both equivalent, which is quite useful. Basically, when I coded equivalency, let me do Control Z to re-enable the equivalencies. So if we go down to Capulet here, okay, it looks like I had to, so apostrophe S I figured was so rare that it could be discounted. So all apostrophe S's should work just fine. So you can append an apostrophe S on the back of anything. Same with this. So it's just frankly ignored. So if I said Juliet's or nurses or Paris's or Lady Capulet, Lady Capulets or Veronas, it's going to discount them, which is quite useful. Now, non-apostrophe s, I do not discount. So if something is plural, then you have to actually specify, because of the way English works, Romeo, you have to specify both Romeo and Romeos. Because Romeo's doesn't really make any sense, right? Romeo's an individual. So obviously it makes sense to nurses, but then it doesn't make much sense to do geese, or gooses, and so that's why S, you have to be explicit, just like in this rule that I've highlighted here. So in one of these statements, there must be capulets, meaning the house, meaning many. So not this one. So the apostrophe s, that maps to this. I mean, they both map to, they all map to this because of it, but somewhere in here, notice the comma right here. No, it has no issue with that. It looks like I don't have a capulets. Oh, right here. Oh, crap. What did I? Sorry. Excuse me. What in the world? Okay. That was Control A to go down here, of course. So, right here. Oh, wait. Did I not type in the right thing? I was looking. Oh, right here. Okay, so the capulets grieve. So this is not normally. It would not normally link to Capulet, only because in that equivalency rule I have Capulet equals Capulets. So if I remove that last Capulets, this would not be linked. But if I come over here and do an apostrophe s, there's no issue. Apostrophe, that's also fine. If I did apostrophe p, it's not recognized. Exclamations, fine, not recognized. Wow, that was quite odd. It looks like it does not support having punctuation in the middle of a word that's not an apostrophe. It looks like apostrophe might be allowed. I'm not sure. There are a lot of edge cases. If it doesn't work for you, you might just have to either break English a bit and kind of avoid certain things. But for the most part, it supports 99.9% of the sentences just fine. I'm kind of curious how that works. Yep, so that one's fine. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, it supports a lot. It makes it quite useful to kind of peruse around and quickly. I mean, if you're curious about any part of what happened during a story, it's a great way to navigate around your story in a non-linear fashion, and then you're also not spending any time searching through notes or any unsorted things. So it's not so different from, as people have pointed out, Control F, but it kind of presents everything in a lot nicer fashion than Control F. This is if you were just Control Fing through a Word document or something. The highlighting is nice. The sigils are nice. The ability to navigate is really nice. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. For the most part, I think this is kind of a good, maybe if you wrote, 10,000 pages or something, yeah, this isn't a great example, but this is a great example for if you were writing maybe a book or half a book. I think my sister who's using it has about 40 or 50 notes, or maybe 60 notes, and she's already written 20 chapters off of those 60 notes. So, just because don't be dissuaded by the fact that the notes has a low number, that it's only 90 notes. This it can still be a great basis, and it supports much larger than 90 notes. I'm just uh, just saying. Okay, so if you have any questions, of course, post them on Discord or anything like that. I'd be happy to answer them, and I'd love to hear if you use it in any capacity. I'd love to hear about it. All right, thank you.